Okay, welcome everybody today to this week's episode on Laid Back the Zinga podcast. Today we're going to talk about nature versus nurture. And with me here today I have Ugo, Alpha.
Yeah, I'm good. Hi everyone.
Yeah.
Um,
So today we're going to talk about the topic nature versus nurture, and this has been a trending topic. Everybody has been debating about this, and I'm gonna start off by asking Ugo, what do you think? Do you think nature or nurture plays more role in how we develop as a human being?
So yes, I mean this is a topic that has come up a lot of times in different aspects of life.
Yeah.
Nature versus nurture. I think they both have their contributions to everything. Every personality traits, ability, performance. I think they both have contributions, but in different things, it's probably different fractions, if I'll put it this way. And so there are instances where nature does contribute a whole lot more than nurture does, and some other times nurture contributes a whole lot more. So, but I think for everything they both have a role to play. I don't think there's not anything that's 100% zero.
Yeah.
For instance, I think that for every single thing that you have out there that human beings display or do, there's a contribution of the intrinsic parts, the nature and the environment and experiences as a nurture. So yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, hold on. You said there are certain instances where nature plays more role, and there are instances where nurture plays. Like, could you give examples?
So let's say a common one should be something like say personality traits and behavior. So I think when it comes to like personality, I think a lot of it is down to how you are, the intrinsic ways in which people are, and how they've always been. I think, and then after a while, with experiences and what they get exposed to, people might change in different ways. But that's still like a basic framework of how they are. You can classify people into this and that, and you can classify into like personality types.
Yeah.
But even amongst these personality types, there are different subgroups, and all those subgroups are that way because those people have had like different experiences and they've been shaped different ways, and so that's why they might manifest in slightly different ways, but there's an overall similarity when you group them together. So I feel in these cases we have like nature like showing a stronger influence in how we manifest as opposed to nurture. So I'll say personality trait is one of them. Yeah.
Okay. So you think personality trait is the one that actually nature plays more role when it comes to personality compared to nurture?
Yeah, I think so. I think some people are a certain way, and despite the fact that they might go through this or go through that, they just still remain the same. And I mean, a few bits of them might change, but still fundamentally the same person. And they don't really change. And you can group human beings into different groups that way. Yeah, that's what I feel, anyways.
Okay.
I feel some people might have different thoughts about it, but that's what I think. What do you think?
No. That's a good point. But now, before I say what I think, I'm actually trying to like get the whole picture because assuming nature is what actually defines our personality. I get that part. So, what do you think nurture actually defines in particular?
Okay, so for example, let me give an example. Say two people are supposed to be. The thing about short temper is that they don't always manifest the same way. So both of us have a short fuse. But what happens when our fuse gets blown might differ because of what we've been through.
Yeah.
So you've probably had a different lifestyle, and you've come to a point, maybe you might be of a certain gender, or you've had a certain socioeconomic class, and the default response to getting angry is you going off, and getting violent and angry when your fuse blows. I use them fuse blows. That's some other short-tempered people. you probably walk away. Some other short-tempered people, they are more likely to just, blow off, but not as serious as the first instance I spoke of. Some other short-tempered people scatter everywhere and then just abandon everything. Some other short-tempered people have learned not to express so much. They get very angry, but they don't do so much. They just keep quiet and maybe exit the environment. But when you look at all these people, they all still have the same problem. They're quick to anger, but your anger doesn't manifest in the same way. And that your anger not manifesting in the same way is down to the fact that you know that maybe your anger, your actions might have consequences. But for some other ones, they might not have consequences. And so, for you to know that your anger has consequences, chances are that you've experienced things that have shown you that you should know better than just flipping and acting however you want.
Yeah.
While some other people get angry and they do whatever because maybe they always find a way to have things done the way they want it, and the consequences don't come until when consequences come and they might adjust. But all these people you are seeing, they get angry and they have short fuses. And that's just maybe a bit simplistic, but that's an example of what I mean for how it manifests. And if you are into this classification of personality types, they always talk about things like a culture this, a culture that, because they know that despite the fact that your basic self is the way it is, they still try to adjust things, tweak things a bit so that you can. So a lot of default responses will be excessive.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That's an interesting way to look at it, to be honest. But you're right, because for example, even with nature, there's something that just like you said, like, okay, for example, I think I'll use this as an example. I think intelligence is natural, it's down to nature. For example, there are certain things, I don't know, exposure to certain things will actually make you more maybe smarter, street smart, or intelligent in a certain way. But I feel like there are certain, no matter what you do, the same things you can't change. Somebody who's intelligent is intelligent. I don't know how to explain it. I think that's down to nature. Because it comes across in everything in one way or the other without even knowing. Let's say, for example, I don't know if you do this. Let's say you go out with somebody, and I've heard people say when they go out on a date and they start asking people, "What do you think about this economic?" To me, that's nonsense. By just asking somebody, okay, what do you think about this? The color of this shirt. The way the person answers can actually tell you whether the person is intelligent or not. I think it's natural. You can't even hide it. But when it comes to nurture, what nurture actually does is, the more things we are exposed to, then our perspective change, and the way we actually analyze things then start changing. That's my own view of the nature thing and the nurture thing. But if the intelligence is there, I think most of the time the intelligence is natural. But it's the nurture that will now fine-tunes the things the way you see them and the way you think.
I don't know. I don't know. The thing about the term intelligence that I probably don't. I'm beginning to, as I get older, I'm beginning to have a problem with. And there's a few concepts generally that people talk about. I know this might be controversial, anyways. Yeah. That I find too vague to hold seriously. Things like maturity. Things like well, some parts of, as like I said, this might be controversial, emotional intelligence. I think intelligence sometimes is a bit, concepts are not very defined. I know you have like intelligence quotient, I might used to define things, but I feel intelligence is a bit just, someone might be intelligent, there are different ways in which you can be intelligent. So I think when I like to think about nature and nurture, I think it might be difficult for me to use intelligence as an example. But I think, for example, sporting ability is something that I like to think about that follows like the reverse trend.
Yeah, but that's another one that's natural, but it can also be natural.
Actually, that's what I feel like when I feel the reverse trend, I think nurture does a bigger role. Although, well, I think in all of us, if you sample like 10 of us, born in the same, maybe different parents were put in a space and put all of us together in a space, I think we all don't have if you give us the same training in a particular sport, we all don't have the same
ability.
abilities to. We're not going to get to the same point in terms of success-wise or proficiency in that skill. I feel there's something in us that predisposes some people to be more athletic than others. Yes, that's the word. And in some sports, some kind of athleticism might be more favorable than others. So that's why I think if you put 10 children that are born from different parents in the same place and teach them one sport for 10 years, they are not going to be at the same level of skill, because some people have those things in them that makes, even if it's eye-hand coordination or if it's some kind of weird thing, like even something as ridiculous as your lactic acid production, for instance.
Yeah.
Some ridiculous shit like that might be like your endurance, your lungs, your lung capacity. Like one of us amongst us might have maybe bad heart.
Yeah.
And they're not athletic. But then at the same time, but then having that ability or that trait or that feature is not enough. Someone that has a bad heart. I know a lot of people that play football. I see a lot of people play football on TV in all these countries that are well developed. And I know boys in Nigeria that will probably do better.
They just don't have the opportunity. Yeah,
they don't have the access to things. So that's where nurture comes in a whole lot. No matter how talented you are, on that bridge playing football with some health leather 3-ball, health leather 4-ball, it's not the same as attending an academy.
Yeah.
And getting taught properly. So that's where nurture comes in.
Yeah.
So for things like football now, sports, I think nurture does play a big role in outcomes than nature does. I mean, nature is there, but I mean, life is opportunities and access is not the same. So that's another example.
I agree. I don't know if you've read this book, Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell.
I know the book, but I haven't gotten a chance to read it.
Yeah, I think you should read it. There are two things he mentioned in the book that resonate with what you just said. He mentioned something about the 10,000 hour rule, and I believe that if you do something repeatedly for 10,000 hours, whether you like it or not, you get to it becomes a part of you. You get so good at that thing. I think he's right. Then there's something else he mentioned that I'll never forget, and he has a point. He mentioned so many people who became famous, and he mentioned he researched down to where they were born, the year they were born, the day they were born. All these things are outlines that actually made them successful. And he has the point. He gave himself as an example. He said his great-great-grandmother, was an Igbo slave that was taken to Jamaica. So she ended up marrying an Irish landowner, as a slave then, and had babies. So at that time, the grandparents, they became mulatto, like half caste. So they had the opportunity to go to school compared to other slaves that didn't have the opportunity to maybe like become a concubine to the landowner. This is what I mean. So they ended up going to school. They ended up educating themselves. They had more privileges in Jamaica because they were light skinned. But the moment they because they now migrated and went from Jamaica to England, all those privileges they enjoyed in Jamaica stopped. you see the point now. So he was trying to. He made a good point. Honestly, said if they weren't half caste and mulatto, he doesn't think they would have had the opportunity. Wouldn't even have the opportunity to be where he is today, because he has the opportunity today because the great grandparents they had the opportunity to go to school, whereas others who were actually working in on the farmland didn't have the opportunity to actually go to school, but they were all slaves.
So, which go on, sorry.
Yeah, you go on.
No, so which now break this conversation is now broaching that aspect and that matter that I tend to pick. So of course we all have our different perspectives to life. Is destiny and chance and luck and things like that.
Is there anything like destiny? I believe in luck, but I don't know about destiny, but luck, yeah. But do you think anybody's destined to be anything without working on it?
I'm not a believer of the word destiny. I just feel like I like to see life as random events going on together.
Yeah.
While events are random, no matter how random they are, there's still the chance that certain tiny probabilities will come into place and things will happen. So things called so for example, now you sample like 100 things, and 101 chance, 1 in 100 chance might be small, but it's going to fall in for someone. And that's 1 in 100 chances that what we describe as luck for some people that are
Yeah.
lucky enough to get it. And for most people, that's not the case. That's not the case. And if you, and so I don't know about destiny. There's only one person that's going to be the president of the country at the same time, at every point in time, for example. And while there are like thousands of people that are nursing those ambitions, and you cannot say that person was really destined. Maybe things and events have just fallen into place for them to just become that thing that they want to be. I don't know about destiny. Because when you start to bring about things like negative outcomes,
Yeah.
where does destiny? Are you saying someone is destined to have a negative outcome?
Yeah.
What's the whole point of trying? They're going to have a negative outcome, and that will not shift into the whole concept of religion, which is also controversial in itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, not sure those plays a whole big role.
No. Not has a huge role. But at the end of the day, I think at the end of the day is an interplay. Like we all become who we are based on interplay. I've seen people who were so introverted, and then they become so outgoing. Like maybe like later in life, and I won't lie. At the end of the day, I get so shocked because they were so introverted, and all of a sudden, 5-10 years down the line, they're even more outgoing than other people I know. So I think it's an interplay. Yes, your nature may be, person's nature may be introversion, like person will be introverted, but because of maybe what he has or she has been exposed to, the person has decided to force himself or force herself to actually know how to be outgoing, because maybe without being outgoing, he or she can get whatever she wants. I don't know, but that's what I realized. I think human beings, we are malleable, and it is the nature that actually the nature. We are the nature part actually. We all come to life. We're all brought into this world with a certain character, certain attitude, certain personality. But it is that nature that will now like beat us into certain things, into certain behaviors, and then we become more refined. That's what I think.
No, that's what I think it is as well, because I mean, variation is a constant feature of human beings that needs to exist.
Yeah.
And the thing is that because no matter how, if you think about it, our experiences are, to be honest, largely similar. But because those experiences are falling on different intrinsic nature in our beings, and then it manifests in different ways. You'd be surprised how different siblings will have different experiences with same family and same parents, and they all turn out differently.
Yeah.
Like that does happen. You see two people come together. This one is an extrovert, is fun and out there, life of the party, and the other person, the same family, same experiences, and the person is just quiet and withdrawn. And you're wondering, how did this happen?
Yeah.
I think, and then the difference is the nature of the individual. How whatever experience they had interplayed with their self, their intrinsic self, and it's manifesting in different ways. So that's the thing. It's interesting because this probably applies to almost everything we do, like this aspect of everything, personality, career choices, and even like in these jobs that we do. I feel like some people would have probably ended up being great at some other things that they never get to find out.
Yeah, if they were more open and outgoing, I agree.
Or maybe they might never, for example, might see someone like say, just for example, I say Messi, for example. Messi might be a good footballer. There's no chance that he might probably be a great, maybe that man, Or
sorry, I didn't get what you said.
So like a dark, like people are pro dark. So I can just give you an example.
Yeah.
Or say someone like Usain Bolt now. Say if you had grown up under certain circumstances, maybe you probably need a good striker, for instance. But you never really know. And so, for example, I'm a doctor student, and I'm wondering, are there other things in this world that I would have done under different circumstances, and I'll be good at? You probably never know, because you never really got the exposure, you never really got training, you never got the chance to even try those things out. So they might mention it, and you might be like, "What's that?" And then, but you never know.
Yeah, you have a point, but just like, okay, use Messi as an example, but I still believe at the end of the day, that's why it's important for us to. Okay, even if you are not naturally, if you are not like that naturally, it's good for us to be a little bit open to experiences, because experiences, okay, I get it though. Some people will end up being open to experiences and it will end up changing them for the worst. So I
Yeah,
get that,
yeah, yeah.
but being open to experiences, okay, I like trying this thing. I don't know about that person, but I'm going to use myself as an example. Once I feel like I've never done anything before, I try to put myself out there to try it. And after trying it, and then I feel like, okay, I realize, okay, I'm good at this, or I feel like it's nonsense to me. I don't bother to try it again. But I always try. I'll always expose myself to that thing. I say, okay, you know what, let me just try it. And once I try it, it doesn't matter whatever it is, and I feel like it's not for me. But in my head, I'm like, why do I even need to do it again? I don't bother anymore. But I get it. Some people end up trying and they get sucked into it, and it changes them for the worse. So I get it. You just need to understand yourself and know what you. But I think by being open and especially non-judgmental, you may end up realizing that you may be good at so many things. Just like you gave an example, medicine. Like you could. Okay, let's say for example, medicine, and let's say you become an Igbo presenter on BBC, for example. It's totally different from medicine. See what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you don't expose yourself to that thing and say, okay, let me just try. Even if it's just for a day, you don't get paid. It's just a volunteer opportunity. Let me just try this thing and see how it will go. You might even surprise yourself and realize, oh more, I did good at this thing.
Yeah, you'll be surprised. The thing is that unfortunately, human life only gives us enough time to go do so much. Because between like parents trying to sort of like maximize their investments in you, and your society not being robust enough to allow you to experiment. Imagine those guys in those days, like in those 18th century, when I read all those stories of those scientists that we looked at, like chemistry techniques and physics. It was all guys being, one person would be a physicist, zoologist, botanist,
just one
explorer, and that's because while I also think that the barrier for entry then was quite low, and then the degree of specialization that you needed to have then was also not as deep as it is now. The other things, like, they were comfortable and they didn't have to worry about things like basic bills, and those institutions also invested in them and allowed them, use their free time to discover whatever they wanted to discover without worrying about paying anything. I think that was that as well. But you can only do so much. I mean, you take the academy. But just imagine if you had, let's say, played football, for instance, and you probably didn't get the chance to study, or maybe you try to combine both, and then you probably denied yourself or not putting enough devotion into your studying, and say you had a career-ending injury, and then you probably lose out on both sides, and those kind of things happen. So sometimes, so I feel like in ourselves there are features and abilities or properties that we have that might have made us flourish in other places. But as a human being, you can only flourish in one place at a time in modern society.
Yeah,
you can't do too much.
And it all depends on the opportunity and on the environment you find yourself, to be honest.
But you can't do too much. You can only, that's what I think that's the beauty of advanced societies. See people who are able to pursue 2-3 different careers in a lifetime. Actually, because they can afford to live long enough to be able to do that. And that's something personally I admire, and I'm looking to see if I can try.
You were saying something about trying to merge your medicine and another career.
No. What I mean is, I think, so I meet people here who have had, like, they've lived like in their 60s. You meet patients every time, you have conversations with them. I see patients who have had like 2-3 different careers in a lifetime. In your 20s they're doing this, and in their 30s they decide to venture into this. And by the time they go to their 50s, they say, you know what, let me venture into this. And sometimes I think the other people that I probably admire the most, people who are able to get their hands on
different things.
on different things, you know, who I think it sometimes is nice because we're more than just what we think we are doing at the moment. I think we have under the right situation or circumstances, we can do much more.
Yeah, I agree.
Much more.
I agree because I think you don't know how much what you can do until you try. For example, okay, just like you said now, just imagine you say, okay, you know what? There's this university close to my house. Let me see if I can actually lecture the medical students. You will shock yourself, and you see that you cannot actually. It's the truth. Like you just shock yourself.
Okay, teaching is not so bad though. Teaching is all right. Something I've thought about, but I think for me, the problem I have is there's other parts of academics that I don't enjoy.
No. But
I'll
that's
just give
the
an example.
but that's the funny thing. But that's the funny thing about academia. I get that part, but I remember the first time I was offered to teach. I didn't want it because I like my own space. I didn't even want it at all. The person that actually spurred me on to actually take it was my other brother. I didn't for anything, but then I did, and everybody was like, "You are good at these things. Keep doing it." I didn't even want to do it. Then at the point I said to myself, "Oh, okay, maybe I'm actually good at this without even knowing." Because I didn't understand why I need to stand there and talk. It gets exhausting, but you'll be shocked, and you might end up telling yourself, okay, you know what, this is actually fun.
Yeah, I think there are things that you probably think you're afraid of. You're probably not afraid of. You're probably not keen on doing that. You end up being able to do well.
Yeah.
You end up liking, but you probably might not find out if you never try.
Exactly.
And that's the case for a lot of things for a lot of people. So, but what happens is that which is why it's interesting when you see that people who are on the upper side of things on the socioeconomic ladder end up still maintaining status quo because they have the privilege of experimenting.
Yeah.
Try out things, and try out this one. It doesn't mean your life will come crashing over. You can always say, okay, no, this didn't work out. Let me try out this one tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you can do that. And sometimes it's nice to have that privilege to be able to do things like that. Try out this might not work. Try out that might not work.
Exactly, but at least I have this belief. I don't know if it's down to nature or as well, but I think I have this. I'm not scared to try anything. I'll always try. So at least I don't have to worry to say, okay, what if I didn't do it? But now I can actually tell myself, okay, I don't do it. It didn't work out. At least I did it. Now I know I did it. It doesn't work. It's not for me. Like then I would start thinking, okay, what if I had tried this? Maybe I would have been good at it. You see what I mean? Like you've tried it and you are good at it or you're not good at it. You tell yourself, okay, you know what? Let's just move on. Let's try something else.
Yeah. To be honest, I wish I was more like that than I am. I mean, I like to get involved in stuff, but I feel like I'm probably not serious enough to follow up on a lot of things. But yeah, I think that's what it should be. Just that when you're from where we are from, you are more. There's this whole survival mode that we are on that prevents us from
trying a lot of things.
From trying a lot to be play safe a lot.
Yeah.
Because there are no safety nets to fall back on when things don't go well.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem with a lot of us. It's just that whole safety net that we lack.
Yeah.
And survival mode that we're in. If not, I think I won't be surprised if I tried like 3-4 different things. I know that's not how it happens. I'll still fall back to certain things.
Okay. Now that you just mentioned it, it's okay. So it's still linked to nurture. But so do you think the survival mode that we are in, that most of us are in, do you think it actually changes their nature on who they are?
Well, so there's this whole thing about where people, I mean, for evolution to happen, or for people to evolve, for species to evolve, or culture to evolve, there has to be the point where constant nurturing can change how your nature functions. That whole epigenetics is something that you can both understand.
Yeah.
I think it's somewhere bordering around that people might do something so much in a certain way that even your nature now adjusts to fit into. The look at things you hear about communities that people live underwater, for instance, and you need to maybe Not people say, okay, what am I saying? People live like near water bodies and they need to like get into swimming and all that. And realize that after like several generations, a lot of them now, know how to stay underwater for long without needing so much oxygen. Some similar shit like that.
Yeah.
So and I feel like it's possible that our constant need for survival, that happens over the years, permeates our social consciousness, and after a while it becomes a big part of us, to some extent.
Yeah.
And it colors everything with us. So yeah, it's possible that our nurturing in that regard might affect the way we are. And even if I can't, of course, I don't have any stats to prove this, but just conjecture. But I think it's possible that can be a thing. If nature can influence where your nature can be, then it's possible that cuts across a whole lot of things, including this our survival mode state that I'm talking about. And I think it's a thing because you can't tell me that this Nigeria, for example, this Nigeria, of course, we're Nigerians. This is our way of life, which is heavily influenced by the state of things in the country, and our being on survival mode constantly. It's possible that it might be that if this continues for the next 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, it surely will have influenced how we can be, and a part of us will just become like that. But who knows, this current state how we are at the moment might be a result of what's been happening during the pre-colonial times. Who knows?
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, it's just talk. I'm sure there are probably studies about stuff like this out there, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
So,
but at the end of the day, that survival mode. Okay, let's link it now to the survival thing, to nature and nurture, and then one particular thing. Do you think? Okay, I think a natural nurture plays a role in the mentality of an individual. So do you think the survival mode actually affects the mentality of a lot of people, like a lot of people from Nigeria, and the way they think, how they because I think it makes a lot of people, because they're in survival mode, there's this herd and crowd mentality a lot of people have. They can't think for themselves. What they feel like, oh, this is what is actually happening. This is the business where they work, or more. Let's all of us go and do this business. You see what I mean? If this is what is happening, let all of us go there. Do you think it affects the mentality of people, or is just natural? That's just the way people think.
No. I think there's a part of human beings that, of course, the interplay between your nature and the environment is a thing. For example, back home we have people who, like you just mentioned, the survival instinct. We want to play safe. We want to go for stuff that we are sure that's tried and tested and has a higher probability of bringing in success or positive outcomes. And so everybody wants to do the same thing everybody's doing. I mean, at the end of the day, who doesn't want to? There's always someone starting something and everybody follows up because it's proven and tested. And I think after a while that becomes part of us. I think that's mostly a nurture thing, really. I'll say it's natural. People just want to flourish as much as they can. So if you come into an environment and things are like that, you're either going to have to sit up and either do what people are doing. You're comfortable enough to try your own thing. You might try one thing once, it doesn't work out. Try one thing twice, it doesn't work out. I still default back to that thing everybody's trying to do.
Yeah.
In cultures, environments where you have options and you have safety net, that safety net thing is quite important. It's very important. I think that's the thing, you underrate it a whole lot. In those kind of places, they don't have that concern. I can decide to become a plant biologist while everybody's doing IT.
Yeah.
Because plant biology will pay me. I'm sure it will pay me. I know it will pay me, and I'll just get involved in it and do it because that's the niche I want to carve out. And so that survival mode thing doesn't really apply to me because I know that I'm going to survive anyway.
Yeah.
So I think that's strictly nurture. I think it's strictly environmental and experiential. I'm not quite sure. What might vary is how, while all of us are doing this head mentality inside that same discipline or inside that same trade or something, how it's working out for us might not
Yeah.
vary, because some of us are probably more likely to succeed in such things. Some of us are more likely to be gluttons and spend all our money instead of saving. Some of us are more likely to have better memories and read better and collect better. Some people might have better analytic skills and will fare better. But all of us are doing the same thing. So that's why all of us do the same thing and we won't get the same outcome because of
Yeah.
our different nature and things
Yeah.
inside us that make us, yeah. So that's what it is. That's how I see it though. I think I would like to maybe I'd like to hear a different opinion, but I think that's how I look at it.
Yeah. So, in summary, you believe like the survival mode actually affects the way people think, the crowd mentality thing, and the way because if they had that safety net, they would try as much as possible to try experiment and try something for themselves.
Yes. So it's a nurture thing. Survival mode is a nurture thing. It affects what people think. If you're in a different environment, you might behave differently, but that's situation where you are in that's making you prioritize survival, because survival is top priority really.
Okay. If you say it's a natural thing, there are a lot of people who are rich now, for example, in Nigeria, and they still have that crowd mentality. They still do things just because they are moved by the crowd. They still don't do things to do it. So, do you think survival actually plays a role in that?
But like you said, now they're here. They're not anywhere else. The environment really not. Sometimes it might just be the environment as opposed to your means. Besides, if you're in a place where things are okay, are not okay, you're looking at that, and that's all you know. You can't think elsewhere. So even if you have the resources to be different, it might not really come to you to do different. I think it's really about the environment in which you find yourself in than anything else, whether they are rich or poor. Because some people that whole head mentality I've seen, that people are rushing towards something, and people who are better off than others, they're not all at the same level. But people still do what is obtainable in the environment, because that's what people are doing. That's the general mentality that everybody has.
Yeah.
So it's that mindset that everybody has. It's more about the environment. If you are testing somebody in a different country now, for instance, doing the same thing, and they might be different. But if you are all in the same place, you most likely be wanting to do the same thing because that's what you think everybody's.
But you have a point though, because I just thought about something now that actually made me think. You just said something that made me think. When you migrate from Africa to the UK, yeah. Let's say because I migrated as a student, so I'll use it as an example. I've noticed this. If once you come into the country, if people you meet are doing McDonald's jobs, you'll end up telling McDonald's job is where everything is. Then you go into McDonald's. If people you meet are into like warehouse jobs, they'll tell you it's warehousing. That's the thing. If people you meet are into care, they'll tell you it's care. If people you meet are into this, they'll tell you it's that. You see what I mean? So you have a point.
And let me just pause you for a second and realize that if you come into that place and you don't have a choice, you don't have like options as to, let's say for example you're a student, you come in and you need to survive by earning a bit of income, you probably would get involved in those things because they're safe.
Yeah.
And it's tested.
Yeah.
But if you've come in and you have options and you have some bar in the bank where you're getting decent allowance from your folks, you can afford to say, okay, you know what, I don't want to do this care job everybody do. Let me see if there are other things I can get involved in.
Yeah.
That can bring me back. Or not even bother with work at all. And so it boils down to options and means. So if you have options and you're soft, you can try some of that stuff. If you don't, what everybody is doing, what you're going to follow most likely do.
Yeah.
True. And that's the survival mode, because bills have to be paid, money has to be made, and that's what it is, really.
Yeah. You have a point. You have a point, because everybody's on survival mode and it actually changes our behavior. To be honest, you have a point.
It does. You're surprised how it does. Because of course, from like Nigeria to this point, like so left Nigeria 2016 July, at this point you see how much a lot of things have changed about how you see things. When you start to make money, when you're in a society where things are a bit more secure, you can afford to say, okay, I can do this, I can try this. I can afford to say, okay, let me try things. And that's just basically your environment interplaying with, with your perception of how you should do things. You're just doing it because that's what is happening here. That's how people here live, and that's how. And if you do it, it's probably going to work. And okay, watch and see how it is for us. When you travel to Europe, I've heard about people saying things like when you travel to Europe for say holidays and stuff. Not white people, blacks like us. We especially immigrants, we don't vacation as much as the white people in England do, for instance.
Yeah.
And that's because we come from a place. Apart from black tax, we believe in the whole concern about rainy day.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, we don't want to blow all our bar going to look at white buildings in Greece and Santorini.
But to be fair, you don't even have to blow all your bar on holiday. To be honest.
No, I'm not saying no, not blow your bar literally, but let's rephrase. Okay, let me say.
Yeah, but that's the mentality. I get
curb our excesses, curb extras, and manage and survive as much as we can do, because we know that we feel that if something happens tomorrow, we'll probably regret money spent in doing things that are not essential to our lives.
Yeah.
So we end up not enjoying life, just end up accumulating and packing. Then this happens to you tomorrow.
Just like you just said, at the point I felt like a lot of people don't really enjoy life. Yes, people are hustling and making money, but deep down, I don't think they enjoy life. Like, there's certain things I don't know, maybe down to nurture as well, because they're trying to survive. And then you expect them, you ask questions, have you experienced this? The person will tell you no. Have you experienced it? The person will tell you no. Yeah, you're making money, but I think the person is not really living. That's what I think. Because yeah, you're making money, but if you can't experience, even if that's not your interest, at least have different experience. You see what I mean? Like, you can actually say, okay, this is what is obtainable in Madrid. Like, it doesn't even, you don't have to go to Madrid. This just a little bit, experiment a little bit. But I think we have this thing where if we go to this particular restaurant and we know that that's what works, or more, now that restaurant we could go till the kingdom come.
I used to buy. I used to buy. I think it varies for people though. Some people are creatures of habit, while some people are not. I used to buy chicken and chips somewhere I used to stay in Chapel Down Road in Leeds.
Yeah.
And every time I go there, I buy the same thing. I buy the same thing every single time. And whenever I come there, the guy will be like, the guy will just go and start taking those things because, well,
it's you.
It's me.
Yeah.
And I don't change. And I feel like a lot of people are like that. Some people are not. But let me bring a funny twist to that thing about experience and living. Some people, their own definition of experience is just go and drink beer, eat cereal, Kobe, sleep with women, and they're happy. And whenever they have the chance to do that, they're happy and they feel like and maybe the date with two women instead of one woman to be like, wow, that's a great experience. And then back to their usual grind. And travels are not really their thing. They're not really traveling. So this whole thing about, I don't know how it happened though. Somehow in this modern social media time, we've made travels seem like the zenith of enjoyment, and good experiences. I don't know how that came about though.
But in social media, yeah, you have a point.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's travel agencies or airline companies, and you can't be too sure of how things go in this world. Just like the way diamond and engagement ring thing happens. It might just be that it's small, low-key propaganda, because everybody just talks about travel. If you're not traveling, you're not enjoying.
You're not living.
Living.
But it's down to nurture and elitism. Everybody wants elite travel, so you have to travel. But yeah, but everybody wants to be part of that exclusive social class. People who are doing this, with this exclusive to people who are actually living well. For example, you see people drinking wine because they feel like elites drink wine, even if they don't enjoy it. You see what I mean?
I think I'm guilty of this. I'm guilty of this because by default alcohol is supposed to be beer, but everybody just drinks wine, and beer doesn't just my profit. Yeah. I try to drink wine, but it's not my nature to do so.
Exactly, and it's all about you accepting what you are. me, if I don't like it, I don't like it. I can buy it for you, but I won't drink it. But now let me take it back to thing you said about enjoyment. Just drink beer, two women, and then they're happy. I can actually fault that mentality. Do you know why? I have a friend. I don't know if he's going to listen to this book. I have a friend, Ems, and there was a question he asked me when we were doing our service. I think service or after service. And he asked me a simple question. Irons, if you become rich tomorrow, what do you think is going to take most of your money? And I told him nothing. Because I feel like I'm the kind of person that I always have everything under control, no matter what it is. But then he now told me I should think about it again. I told him, nah, I know myself. No matter what I budget, you see what I mean? Like, not if it chop me to the point that I'll get ruined, or not ruined, but like it just. But then at the point during my masters, I saw myself, but I bought more than 50 to 100 shoes. In my head, I'm like, Ems actually had the point.
The centipede.
Exactly, but I never, even though I didn't go broke, but don't get me wrong, but I never imagined myself buying a lot of shoes. Like, this is what I mean. Why? What do I carry all of them? They do. But then I now remembered my conversation with Ems. I'm like, maybe the reason I was saying all those things then was because I didn't have the finance to actually get all of them. Because why would I buy 50 shoes? And what am I even doing with all of them? But then this now brings me down to what you just said. Like, some people, they think, what if you give them more money? What if they become extra rich? Do you think they will still see those things as just enjoyment, or do you think their definition of enjoyment will actually change?
Actually, that's the thing. Actually, because I realize that the more interesting hobbies that you tend to discover, you probably don't realize that you like to. Let's say, for example, I'm saying, of course, because we're both Nigerian, so our discussion will probably have Nigerian context. To be related. So, for example, things like cinemas are a big deal to a lot of people in Nigeria.
Yeah.
People have never been into cinemas, not because they don't want to, but because they can't afford to spend the amount of money on. It's just frivolous nonsense. And so, when you start to earn money, you realize that, I think I like cinemas. And you start to go to cinemas a lot, and you enjoy going to watch a Marvel movie or some Kingsman or something, and that's how it is sometimes. And because you don't have the means, to enjoy certain things, you just realize, what's my own?
Yeah.
Since I'm fine with this, my low grade or middle grade enjoyment, I think I should manage.
Yeah.
It also goes into some other nasty parts of the conversation where you see like a lot of world people getting involved in some kind of sinister things, and you wonder whether what happens is the ball, as in, you get wealthy and also think, okay, I think I should start skydiving, or I should start skiing in the mountains.
Exactly.
And then you start to do things that you probably didn't think of, or you might end up enjoying.
Yeah.
So there's that. But then there's also a whole group of people, especially our parents' generation, who have the means. I think I've met one or two of our peers that say things like, we don't really enjoy traveling, we don't really care much about it.
Yeah.
And there are people like that as well. Rather just go to the pub, maybe watch a movie. I've seen people like to say simple lives, just don't really care about it. There are those people as well,
Yeah.
So,
but it doesn't necessarily have to be about traveling. Like, but just like you said, I mentioned about movies and all. Like I said, sometimes I don't think. Okay, how do I explain it? Even though I don't think this is the wrong and the worst financial advice, because I don't think you should do this often. But I'll say it like, for example, let's say you want to take your girl to a good restaurant. Some people will tell you, they will never go to a good restaurant. But once you have the means to do this and you go to a very lovely restaurant, you have lovely steak, you will go back.
Yeah, definitely.
You will go back, but when you don't have that funds, when you don't have the means, you feel like, these people are just wasting money. That's what you start saying in your head. Or maybe you see the video buy Rolls Royce, you say this guy is just wasting money. It's maybe because you don't have the money yet.
True. This is what those people are saying things like this Homa Jeep is ugly.
Yeah.
It's ugly because you don't have the means.
It's simple because you just don't have the means yet. Because the moment you have the means, you realize, okay, that's why I always argue with people. I don't know if you see me do this on Twitter. I argue whenever I see somebody telling me, maybe somebody who is well off, or maybe the dad, the child is spirit led, and he starts hearing them say, "This guy self, nah, jebo, you never suffer this one, that one." It makes no sense to me. It reeks of jealousy and envy because. Let's say you're hustling now, you're in survival mode, and you end up being rich. Your kids will be the same as Jibo way they hit on. It will be the same thing. Then your kids will now have the opportunity to drive the Rolls Royce. Maybe you didn't drive them, but they now have the opportunity to drive the Rolls Royce. So what's the difference?
You know how it is now. As for that, Jibo, it's the thing of like, because your families in which you are born in, or you being an Ajebo or an Ajepako, is not really down to effort. Some kind of lottery of birth. Sometimes it comes from a place of envy. I won't say I haven't been guilty of it before.
Yeah.
So you just feel like you're just not lucky enough to have been born into a place or born to parents who are serious enough to hustle.
Yeah.
Or do stuff, and so it's envy.
No.
So that's human. That's human.
No, that's human. But it's okay for you to, yes, like you say, like we've not been guilty of it before. That's fine. But you get to the point where you come to the realization, the epiphany that I've done this, I've said it before. If you think about it, it makes no sense because if I become rich, my kids will be the same people I'm actually being. It makes no sense.
That's exactly what it is. Now. There's this saying, I forgot what the exact word is, but it's about you saying that you're doing this hard work so that your children I forgot what the literal saying is. About you doing this certain kind of work so that your children can be able to do some, like maybe like you're studying medicine so that your children can be able to do poetry as their jobs,
Yeah.
And do whatever it is they are doing. Yeah, so there's that as well. As well.
Yeah.
But I mean, all this. So I think sometimes, so the whole conversation in general, I think it's something that people need to be able to look at sometimes. The influence and the interplay between our intrinsic self and our environment.
Yeah.
I think it will help people be a bit more understanding of what's going on. I used to have people who I went to primary school with. That when I think about them now, we all had the same primary education, but they didn't just turn out great. Primary and secondary education. I think about them now, and of course, this nature-nurture argument still comes back to those people who have, say, intellectual disabilities. The very overt ones and the not so overt ones.
Yeah.
Or those who have certain things about them that are not allowing them to function optimally in like society.
Yeah.
And then you realize that you and this person might have the same exposure, but they cannot. You just have friends that you think about from primary school days, for instance, that you're like, but this person is autistic.
Yeah.
For instance, but this person on the spectrum.
Yeah.
And then you see those things like back in primary school, you used to sing Olodo Rabata to children who were not smart.
Yeah.
And then because education is probably the way in which everybody is expecting children to, the path in which they are supposed to follow.
Yeah.
So before, I feel like if they had done something else, they would have probably done well.
Yeah.
And then, but they never got the chance to, because education is the general metric in which you judge everybody else and everybody, and the other things to be done, but you don't get the chance to do them. So I mean, it makes you, when you think about our nature is the fact that we go through the same experiences.
Yeah.
Adjusting for nurture.
Yeah.
Our nature might vary, and some certain things are not. So people are not optimized to function as in optimally in certain circumstances.
Yeah.
There's that. And the other one, the flip side, you look at somebody who's an able-bodied person like you. You're wondering how come this person is not this, how come this person is not that. But you guys have had different experiences.
Yeah.
And the fact that you guys have had different experiences means that you guys don't have the same outcome.
Yeah.
And this starts from as young as how small you are. I've probably been lucky enough to be on the better side of things in terms of academic success and stuff.
Yeah.
But I've always had friends who have also not been on that favorable.
Yeah.
And while I want to imagine that it might be due to our experiences, not putting enough effort, or nothing. It would also be the fact that part of our nature some part of my own nature, my intrinsic nature, some properties I have. Maybe my memory functions well. Who knows? You break it down to the scientific level. Might be like, let's say, my hippocampus. I'm just saying randomly.
Yes.
Has some better cells, which that's something I have no control over. And because there's something that's making me remember stuff. I mean, of course, you can work on your memory quite alright, but there's certain things that make me remember stuff better than the next person, and it's really of no effort of mine. It just sometimes happens to me that I didn't really do anything about.
Yeah.
I'm just flexing the memory as it's there.
Yeah.
And sometimes it should be able to make you a bit more understanding of what other people being in certain situations.
Yeah.
Because I come out medicine works for us. Sorry, so just want to medicine. I feel like medicine is. I'll tell any intelligent kid that you're smart. Don't study medicine. Don't do something else.
Why?
Things that involve you having to use your brain in different ways. Medicine is a bit more. You do a lot of remembrance and remembering and trying to keep stuff in your head. The bulk of it is that really. Trying to keep stuff in your head and remembering them later, as opposed to analyzing. There's a bit of analysis when you analyze symptoms in patients. Some disciplines are a bit more strictly analytical.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like if you're good at that, medicine is just remembering. I was a serious person. I was a Jonesy man,
Yeah.
But I was able to remember stuff. I was able to. Sorry.
Yeah. So you said you were just a man, yeah.
No, I was. I quite was. I quite was. It was dangerously Jonesing. I think most people probably wouldn't have survived doing what I did.
Exactly.
But what I'm just saying is that sometimes understanding the fact that we have these differences and that puts some people in advantage and disadvantage in certain situations should probably help us, become more understanding about people and their outcomes and their circumstances. You should be more. You don't know who's playing this story because you don't know their story and you don't know what they are made of or what's in them. You should be more understanding of their plight. Yeah, their plight. So that's just it for me, really.
But don't you think you see things this way because you were opportunity to be friends with different kinds of people?
Well, we are all friends with different kinds of people. I think we just.
No, not really. If you remember in secondary school, there were people. If they were the smart ones, they want to just roll with the smart people. Then there are people, if they think they are the bad guys, they only roll with the confirmed guy. They don't roll with the Jew man. You see what I mean? But exposing yourself to different kinds of people actually helps you to understand others. Actually, be understanding to actually know that this person, maybe that friend that's not so smart academically, is very, very smart in other ways, and will teach you another thing. Do you see what I mean?
True. But the thing is that I used to have like friends who say like let's roll together because we are doing well. And I didn't think that made sense.
Yeah.
Because I always felt that we all have our strengths, which is another thing as well. Again.
Yeah.
And in group we have our strengths, and then and everybody just goes on, as it goes, just carry on. It just carries on, and then our strengths, our weaknesses. This way, I might be flourishing better than you here, but it's other things I'm short. And you are better than me at, and that just goes on. And I feel, maybe it might have affected mine, but I don't know if not a lot of people, go have the things I'm thinking about, but maybe it might have helped me because I like to say that I've lived the best of the lot of worlds. So maybe, just maybe, it might have affected me. I can't really say for sure, to be honest.
Yeah.
I can't, but I think it's a thing that people should try to look at sometimes.
Yeah. Growing up, I used to have issues with my parents. I had different kinds of friends or more. But then results will come and I will pass. Then they'll be so confused. They don't know what to tell you anymore. But the thing is, being friends with different kinds of people actually teaches you a lot. Because if you're in the midst of people who are smart, who only want to be around smart people, you can actually fit in easily. If you're around people who want to Jones, you can fit in easily as well. Anywhere you can actually fit in, unless you don't want to be there. That's when you don't even try to fit in. But you can actually fit in with anybody. And then you try to understand where they come from and why they think the way they think. And you'll be so shocked that those you learn different things from different people. For example, people who were maybe your parents were so maybe that comes that will link us to nature as well. Maybe your parents were so focused on education, so they end up checking your papers to make sure that you're on the right track, that you're actually doing well. Whereas others, their parents were not so focused on education, they just put them in school, but they don't really check whether they're doing well or not.
Yeah. This thing that mentioned, I'm bringing something that's interesting. I mean, I had an interesting child. So my father was not fortunate enough to have done so much in his education because of the war. And then for some reason he used to like to read. He used to be very keen on his kids getting what he didn't get, things like that. And when I grew up, maybe because I was fortunate enough not to be on the doing well side of things. So nobody really checked my scores or my results. And they were coming out good. But I never really had the time when was telling me you could feel must do this one, I could feel must do that one. I can't remember having that. But that's interesting because it just happened. I'm coming. It just happened to me. But then I understand that that people might have it different. Or just make the point you want to make. I think I lost my point.
No. You just made echoed my view because you see my point. You know how your dad was giving you books to read as a young child. Even though at the end of the day they weren't checking your progress, don't you think that actually affected you?
No. So let me rephrase. No, they weren't giving me books to read. They weren't giving me books to read. So my dad used to read himself. I think I got to find out much that his dad used to sell books.
Okay.
So and then the war happened and blah 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 and all that. And so he used to read. So when I grew up, I used to have a lot of books around the house. They're not just there for me. They're not stuff I should be reading. I mean, I was reading 1980 year book before I was 10.
Yeah.
I was reading about Shehu Shagari and PRP and MPN when I was less than 10. And so it was weird if I was doing it. But those things happened. They are just around the house for me to do. Not like I forget to go and read them. It was just there. And your boredom of don't go and play outside.
Yeah, exactly. But don't you think having those things around you, some people don't even have the opportunity to be exposed to, even books just being littered all over the place in the house. Don't you think having been exposed to those things, even if they didn't buy them for you, don't you think it actually changed you, the way you are now, the way you think, the way you can actually fit into any conversation and be interesting to others? Don't you think it actually helped?
Oh yeah, it definitely did now. But the interesting weird twist about it is that my younger sister is 1 year younger than me, so sort of grew up. As almost friends. But she never used to be interested in those things.
Yeah. Yeah. But
we used to get the floggings together, we used to get the don't go and play together. Unfortunately for both of us, in my neighborhood we didn't really have age mates of our age categories. So we never really had friends in our neighborhood growing up, but mostly school friends.
Yeah.
But she was never really interested in reading all that bullshit. She didn't care much for those things. And that's where the whole interesting thing about nurture comes in. You're playing differently with your different personalities and nature, really.
Yeah, exactly.
For some reason, we had the same group just there on some random shop somewhere, and she didn't just bother to look at it. She wasn't interested.
Yeah. But
I know what was weird. I know what now makes it even weirder. All this even weirder is that there's a lot of political things in all those books. And she's one who is a lawyer today, and I'm not.
but I have similar issue. Similar story because my younger sister is also a lawyer. But funny enough, I see people and they tell you at the point when we're growing up, some people thought I was a nerd. But the thing is, just like you, my dad had a lot of books. My dad likes books. So you see all these, even encyclopedia of plants, things I wasn't even supposed to read. I read all of them. Not because I was so I was a book. I was so curious. Okay, why do we have this book? Why is it so important that we need to use it? And for example, I might see something about time or aloe vera, and then I'll go into the kitchen, get thyme, put into the pot, boil the thyme, and then try. This is what I mean. I try so many things, but just like you said, my sister didn't even bother to do all these things. Like they thought I was mad. Like, why would you even try all these things? Like, you read it and then go and get thyme, put it in the. Why would you even try? But trying all those things, just like you said, that's where the interplay actually comes, the nature and the nurture. But I think at the end of the day, it changes and it makes you to be who you are at the end of the day.
Well, definitely. There's this book I read not so long ago. Gene. It's called Gene. I don't know if you read. You know the book by what's this guy's name? He's an Indian guy, Siddhartha something. It's an Indian guy. So the guy. So there's a whole lot of Siddhartha Mukherjee, an Indian geneticist in America or something, doctor in America, genetics specialized. Anyways, so why I like this? Why this topic is something I get interested in is because first things first is that human beings need to understand the fact that variety is a thing that should happen in human beings.
Yeah.
How complex we are and how our genes in quote interplay. We're going to manifest different kinds of human beings. And our differences are not going to be in just our looks, in our appearances. It's also going to be in our personalities and how we see life.
Yeah.
And that how we see life is going to be a result of interplay with our environment and experiences.
Yeah.
And so we can't all be the same. We can't all see life the same way. So there's small differences here and there. We bring people, a group of people together. So I think it's it would be nice if people can appreciate those differences. I mean, you can just say, for example, you might say you are a certain way. Let's say, for example, you're a certain way and I'm a certain way, and just the fact that we are different means that if something comes into this place now, we're going to respond slightly differently.
Yeah.
I think it's nice to see life that way sometimes. It makes us understand other people better. It makes us appreciate the fact that us being different is okay. It's just being human. Being different types of human beings is nice. How we are supposed to be like. Of course, and it makes us understand the fact that because person is white or black or tall or short, it doesn't make them abnormal, doesn't make them different or strange.
Yeah.
It just makes us
But things we are not used to, things we find weird actually scare us, and we start attacking that thing, even though that thing might be easy. That's how we are.
I think it's just unrefined and poor behavior too. I was in a group once about we're doing that Black Lives Matter thing. Because we have on Tuesday we have groups on Tuesday teachings where we discuss stuff about this GP training thing, and then so that day was talk about the experiences of an IMG. And that day, I think I was in the mood that day to look for trouble. So I said I was like, we talk about acceptance and tolerance, and then I think people just think it's by saying, okay, this person can work here. No, it goes beyond that. You need to understand the fact that people are different backgrounds, different experiences. It's going to affect the way you see things. You cannot expect me to having come to this country maybe at 25 plus, 30 years plus. You expect me to randomly just switch to where I am overnight to do things the way you've been doing it since you're born. That's intolerance. That's not understanding the fact that we are different. And you don't wipe off years of socialization and entrenchment in certain ways in just few months of being in a different place. And if you don't understand the fact that I will sound different to patients, the way of asking questions going with patients, my food will smell different in the staff room, then are you tolerant? Are you really accepting? Those small things sometimes might just be what is enough to make people start to look at you differently. And that's just me looking for trouble. I guess everybody was quiet, but that's the way.
No. Whatever you make that kind of point, everybody will be quiet because they don't want to. Everybody is so. I think the problem with the world is that everybody is so sensitive, and this political correct thing, everybody is so scared to actually say what they think. Nobody actually says anything. So they are so offended. Anything you say can offend anybody.
Well, I try not to be offensive, but I just try to put it out there that when people are saying things like tolerance and acceptance, that you understand the fact that it extends towards this thing.
Yeah.
That you might go through. I've not been recently accused at work before. At work ever by anyone. But if you ask me about acceptance, I might have a few one or two things to say about that. So sometimes it might not be the patients that accuse you racism, it might not be your colleagues, sometimes it might be other small people
Yeah.
that remind you that you're not from here.
Yeah.
These kind of things, yeah. So that's that. So but anyways, so that's I think it's been. But I just my own reason why I said for us to talk about this was I wanted to bring up the whole point of variety and tolerance and understanding.
Yeah.
And like I said before, that being able to understand the fact that it's just a spectrum of human beings growing in different traits and features and all those things. Sometimes it's easier to see life that way. Makes you a better person in how you relate to people.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if because I've been exposed to different kinds of people. I would like to say I tolerate people. Like, I never react. It's hard for anybody to say they do something the first time to me and I react. I never react. But if we do it repeatedly and maybe I've told you about it, they keep doing it, that's why I lose it. Because I that's not tolerance anymore, because now I think you're not taking the piece. No, it's the truth. But if you're trying as much as possible to tolerate people, because I understand everybody's different, the way they see things are totally different. I might be saying A is this. That's why sometimes I don't even try to argue, because I don't want to get into that fight where we'll be going back and forth. The way the person's okay, and what actually taught me this thing was when I was growing up. I used to argue a lot about football. Everybody knew me that time. Like in Enugu, don't bring banter to me. Now you go vex, go your house. So at the point, I now realized I watch football. Like people used to come to my house.
I think when I first knew you, I think you like to argue football.
I used to do what?
On Twitter, I think when I first knew you, used to like to argue football. Go on.
I argue football. Everybody, like from primary, secondary, university, they knew me about like what. Once you come, I go put you in your place. You go vex, go your house. I used to do that, but then at the point I had an epiphany, and I realized I could see, but people used to come to my house to watch football, like how my house would be so full. Then I now realized at the point, I watch the same game with people. The way I see the game was totally different from the way they see the game. And I'll be wondering in my head, why can't they see what I'm seeing? Do you see what I mean? I'm like, this in day clear. Why if you just see? I'm like, okay, for example, there was a day I was watching that FA Cup final between Chelsea and Man United, for example. And I told my friend, then Chelsea made a substitution and put Ian Robin in extra time. Wes Brown was the right back for Man United, and I just told them in the house that day, just give you 5 minutes. Right, Wes Brown will give this boy injury. You know, if you finish 5-10 minutes, you give him injury, they come out. Like all of them were like, you see, it's a pattern. I know Ferguson, once they know that person's a threat, they put people who are rough on that particular boy. He does that, I know that. So, but at the point, I told myself, we've been watching Man United for years now, Chelsea why can't I didn't understand why they couldn't see that it was a pattern for United or Ferguson. This is what I mean. It's normal. He's going to do it. So I didn't understand why. For example, if you remember against Arsenal, he put Phil Neville and Gary Neville on Reyes. It's normal for him. Kill that boy. This is what I mean. Kill that player. He does it. So I didn't understand why they couldn't see what I was seeing. But then that's when I realized, everybody sees things differently. So instead of arguing with people, I just I just stop. Because you keep on going back and forth and the person won't see it. And later, maybe the person will not see maybe 10 months later. That's a lot of time for me to waste, for him to go back and forth. When you see it, when you eventually realize, then we can actually talk about, there's no need for me to get going back and forth. But just like you said, it's all about tolerance and understanding everybody is different. The way you see things different. Your IQ, maybe your emotional intelligence, everybody is different. It's just trying as much as possible to be tolerant.
Yeah, it is, and that's it for me. What is it like? I people want to talk about me? Of course, this extends to other things like say sexuality, but that's not a topic I want to broach here. But it extends to that as well.
The sexuality thing. Okay, because of time, we're going to stop here. So, but the sexuality thing is something else I do not understand. I don't know if you've noticed it. Have you ever seen me or heard me or tweet or anything? Hear me complain about Bobrisky? I don't care.
No, but basically not the one.
No. I'm just giving an example. Like, but if you notice, once the topic of obesity comes up, it rises up a lot of Nigerians, or maybe like James Brown, Nigerian men, they get so angry. Why is this? In my head, I'm like,
there's a lot of homophobia as part of our culture.
But I just can't understand why you are so riled up about something we know they affect you. I just can't get it.
But man, us versus them thing. I would like to vilify people who are different from us in some ways. It's the thing. But we have our culture that has some heavy homophobia with it. So
no. But that's where the tolerance actually comes into play, because I don't see how the person's behavior, personality, how the thing is affecting you. Honestly, I don't see it. I can't see it. And if the person, okay, for example, they keep on complaining about these guys. If you don't give them an audience, if you don't watch them and listen to them all the time, would they be relevant? No. So why are you complaining? You make them relevant. Is it true?
I mean, it's just wrong how we go about this thing. Well, I guess, like I said, we probably don't have time, so that's a whole topic.
No, we're going to talk about that. Well, we're going to talk about that one next time. But anyway, this is what we're going to stop because of time. Thank you, Ugo, for coming on the show. It's been a lovely time.
Yeah, no problem. It's good to be on here to talk about one or two things. So
yeah, we should do this again soon.
Yeah, I'm always, just let me know when you want to have the discussion. I'm always available.
All right. Thank you so much, and see you soon.
All right. Take care.
Bye.